Swimsuit? Check. Sunscreen? Check. Phone charger? Check. Don't forget to pack the 5-Hour Energy. It fits great in a pocket or carry-on, and the alert feeling will help you arrive ready for anything. Now get 20% off when you use code 5HETRAVEL at 5hourenergy.com. Expires April 30th. One-time use only. Not valid with other discounts. Remember, visit 5hourenergy.com and use code 5HETRAVEL to save 20%.
Now, Podcast One brings you Spike's Car Radio, a downloadable cars and coffee, hosted by writer, comedian, and automotive enthusiast, Spike Ferriston. Now, here's Spike.
Oh, boy. Let's just start on that note right there.
Yeah.
That loud trumpet was Zuckerman blowing his schnozzola. Welcome to Spike's Car Radio. It's like the signaling, like a Roman signaling, like the heraldic trumpets of some weird court.
It's the shofar from the synagogue.
I don't know what it is, but
I'm blowing the ram's horn.
Nobody wants to hear that. Welcome, my friends. Where are you today? You on the road? You driving a truck? I doubt it. You in the shop? You on a plane? You just in your dorm room taking a break? Well, we're happy to be with you. We're glad you're here with us. If you're new, welcome to the Little Porsche Club. And we got a good show for you today. We got Ben Bailey, who is from Cash Cab, coming on. This guy has a game show that goes on in his cab. It's been on forever. It went off the air, and then 5 years later, Discovery said, you know what? Nothing's working here. So let's call Ben up and bring the show back, which they did, and I'm sure that's why he's coming into the studio today to talk about it. Before that, Zuckerman and I went to Barret-Jackson. I went to Barret-Jackson this weekend.
That's why you went from Barret-Jackson.
Saturday, I got on a jet with a corporation, I won't name them, who invited me to come along. An amazing jet.
Tell us about the jet, because you were raving.
I've never been on a private jet like this before.
It was like a commercial-sized jet almost.
It was a Falcon F8 or 8X, Falcon 8X. And I didn't notice anything different. I mean, it was the usual things that you do. Most people don't get to fly on private jets. I don't have a private jet, so don't get mad at me. But I've been on them a lot. And you go, first I knew something was up because we were taking off from LAX. Which usually it's Van Nuys or Santa Monica, right?
But you need a longer runway.
I just knew something was up. Well, the size of the corporation, I figured, all right. And so, and they have these little terminals there. There's no security. There's no anything, which is nice. There's just coffee. And the place, it wasn't even that nice, Signature or whatever. It was kind of dumpy, frankly. You know, even Santa Monica's, what is that, Atlantic that we fly out of? Way nicer than Signature. So I'm like, all right, we're back into this kind of thing. And we go out on and we look. We're getting on that jet. We're getting on this giant jet. It's a giant private jet with an engine on top of the plane, right? Seats for everybody.
Like a sperm whale?
No, usually the engines are hanging under the wing. This was on the top of the plane toward the back,
towards the rear of the fuselage.
Yes.
Like a
we
V1
all get in. There were
rocket.
8 of us. I know a couple of the guys. Famous actor. It was fun, super fun, by the way. And then there's there's 2 empty couches. We could have taken 2 couches full of people there, and we're off from LAX to Arizona. Now here's the first thing I noticed. Right, I noticed we're in the air before I even knew that we were taking off. Inside the fuselage, as you're saying, there was no plane noise. There was nothing. It was this, they had. This is a brand new jet, and they figured out how to keep the noise outside. So we're having a nice conversation at this tone without having it like on an airplane. You all know what that sounds like, right? Yeah, like that. None of that. The plane feels like it took off vertically, like this.
You were just 0 to 30,000 feet instantly.
And then we were I'm looking at the sky, like the nose was pointed at the moon, and then we level off. And, what is the flight to Scottsdale? 2 hours?
Something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't for us. I think we were pushing past 600 miles an hour. And it was one of the nicest flying experiences I've ever had.
Over in 20 minutes, though.
Over just like that. And a great group of people, and they made us eggs and bacon. It was
They had enough time.
Yeah, they did. It was already done. It was fun, and then we got to Barret-Jackson, which is a completely different experience.
You're right. Thunderdome.
Which I love, and it was super fun. And we sat for like 9 hours and just watched auctions go off. I mean, really, there's nothing else to do.
That's overstimulation.
Drank coffee. There was the
Play that clip.
I don't have the clip. It's already gone.
It's
I've already
amazing.
lost it. But if you imagine, I don't know, for some reason I was thinking of Middle Eastern countries in the morning when they do that announcement.
Oh, Ferriston. Oh, my God. You're going to be marked for death.
What do you mean?
That's not correct. What are you saying? La, 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 la.
No,
That's what.
No, what I'm saying is in the morning.
What are you
You
saying?
know how they blast the loudspeakers?
Yes,
over?
for prayer, but to
Yes,
you
for
it sounds
prayer.
like la 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 is what you're saying,
No,
but they're
it's all
talking.
sounds noisy because I don't understand any of it. It's not. I'm being honest with you. It's not. I don't understand
Goodbye,
those languages.
Ferriston.
You think now I'm marked?
Yes.
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm saying it's all noise that I don't understand. Both
La,
of
la,
them.
la, la, la.
No, I didn't say that. I did not say that. Now stop it. But it. You know, you have to figure out a way how to get your head around that.
You played it for me, and I've been in there, and there's no way to get your head around what is happening there. It's seizure-inducing.
And there's no escaping it. It's 9 straight out. I was so impressed with the auctioneer that he could do this, keep this thing up, because it's 1 a minute. You're just doing cars 1 a minute, 1 a minute.
The funny conversation we had on, I think it was Sunday, I said to you, where do you think they find these guys? And what was your answer? They have auction. They have school for this. To go, la, la, la,
No,
la,
I
la.
didn't say that. Somebody said that. Yeah. I think these guys are like...
No.
It's
Somebody
a certain
said
kind of stand-up, but yes.
There's a school for it next to sign spinning school. You
Yes.
can go to school to be the auctioneer and go. La, la,
I
la, la,
believe
la.
it because I've been up on stage for charity events trying to auction things off, and I would feel so dumb doing that. But unless you do you do these things, people don't pay attention to you.
They don't pay attention. You
And you
have
can't
to
do
keep. You have to keep a certain blood pressure.
Yes.
In the room up, and that's a big room, and they have 2 or 3 stories. It's insanity.
Super fun, and we've got passes there that get us right up. You know, another thing I like about it. Here's another thing I like. The security there is the friendliest security of any event I've ever been at. You know, yes, we have passes, but still. Half of my group got up on stage with the auctioneer, and I wasn't paying attention, so they had left me, okay? And now I'm looking up at the stage, and the gang's going, hey, come on up. No one from Barret-Jackson, just my friends. So I go, okay, but I've got to get through several levels of security. And they, as I walk up to them, they go, are you going up there? And I go, yeah. They go, come on up. Now, I don't have a pass that gets me up there. But they're just nice. They're just nice folks. And then I'm up behind the guy. Okay, here's something you don't know, and I told you this. Everything's going up, no reserve, right? Everything's about a minute of auctioning, and it sells. Everything just sells at whatever price it gets to. But Barret-Jackson has a little screen up there that has 2 estimates on it. One, what the seller wants or is hoping for, and then what Barret-Jackson thinks it's going to get, right?
Which is always less.
I can say it was consistently less. I saw only 8 cars go across, I guess, up there, right? And then some of the cars sold for somewhere in that zone, right? I just thought that was an interesting thing to see them manage, but clearly they were more concerned with the clock. Like,
absolutely,
this is the clock. Just your minute is up. Let's sell it and let's move on.
What a production! It truly is.
It's fun. It's super fun.
A giant production that I don't want to go back to.
Yeah, and then people say, "How's the market doing?" I know Barret-Jackson is not a barometer of the market. I mean, there's a lot of American muscle there that does well. Ford GTs. 2004, 2005, because of Ford versus Ferrari. They had about 8 of those, and they all did superior numbers, big numbers. You know, our friend Moise was selling his, right?
Yeah.
And we were getting low-ball offers for that car, and no one would jump over.
Now it's up 40, 50%.
Yeah, no one was jumping into, I think the highest was a 235 offer on that car, right?
Right.
He's got he's got like the nicest Ford GT.
178 miles.
Right. And now, you know, he said, I'm going to keep it. I love it. He's got it in his factory downtown. It looks beautiful there. These other cars were into the mid-3s and then up to the 4s, and they still weren't as nice as his car. And it's got to be all Ford versus Ferrari, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the only thing that would make that market jump. And then the other stuff, you know, I don't know. People... a Dino comes across, silver tan interior Dino, right? And you're crazy because of the noise. You're crazy. There's booze around. There's nothing else to do. You're like, all right, I got to start buying cars. And so I open up the page to the description. It just says 1972 Ford Dino. And then it has three sentences
Nothing to help sell it.
3 sentences about the car, but no mileage, no original paid. So and then the thing does a decent number, but you're like, what do you know about that car?
It's the antithesis of, say, a Gooding, right? It's just a different animal there.
Yeah, but word was Barret-Jackson was the place to be, and Gooding was a little boring, and these other places are a little boring. And they're two different markets, right?
Yes, absolutely.
A bunch of the guys I was with weren't truly car guys, so they, a couple were in hell, and I was just trying to explain to them, this is not your, if you knew what they did, I go, this is really not your thing. This is not where you need to be. Come up to Monterey Car Week. That's your thing.
Right.
That's where you deserve to be.
Staid and genteel.
Yeah. And the other guys, well, they liked it too, but it was a good time. I recommend it to anybody who just wants to see a spectacle. Go for Saturday afternoon between 2 and 6, and that's where the fun happens. That's where they auctioned off the first convertible Corvette, Zuckerman. All right? The charity scam.
Right.
I finally figured it out. I think we figured it out. I don't have any confirmation of it. That car sold for $3 million, right?
Insanity.
A Corvette. What is that, a $60,000, $70,000 car? Right?
Not more than 100.
So the guys I was with said you can write off everything above the value of the car.
Right.
Is that it? Is that right? So that would make sense, right? Because then you get a $2.9 million write-off, and then you just dump the car for the price, and now you're set, right?
I still don't see the wisdom or logic in it, but then I don't have $1 billion. I understand, but you still have to have the
guy
money.
who bought it was a car dealer. Like has dealerships, right? So he gets almost a $3 million tax write-off. And then the price of the car itself, which he has, he can then sell the car. You see what I'm saying?
Or he can use it to lure people into his dealership. Look at this.
But he get the write-off just for moving money for like 2 weeks.
You still got to make the money.
Huh?
You got to make the money in the first
he's got
place.
The money. Obviously, he's got the money. I mean, anybody who needs a $3 million tax break
has the money.
Has the money, right?
I wish I needed that.
There's a good story on Jalopnik this morning that, and Ben Bailey's going to be here in a minute, but I thought I would run through this. Because you're the Porsche community, we're all the Porsche community, and it caught my attention. This used Porsche, this is the headline, this used Porsche nightmare is why you always get an independent inspection.
PPI.
This is written by Tom McParland, who I know on Jalopnik. He's the real-life car matchmaker. He does this and writes about that after the show went off there. He turned it into a column. Here's what you should buy. Good guy. I like him. I talk to him all the time, and he helps people find cars. Here's what happened. All right. A longtime Jalopnik reader, and this is funny. Jalopnik says, and owner of a 69 Dodge Charger and 88 Porsche 911, so not just some geek off the street, had an unfortunate experience purchasing a used 911 from several states away. He found the car at what looked like a reputable dealer that specializes in pre-owned sports cars. He was told by the salesperson at their dealership that the car was inspected by a Porsche certified technician, a PCT. That means nothing, right?
Right.
You and I are Porsche certified technicians, right? Gave the car a clean bill of health. The customer did notice an idle issue, and the dealership agreed to fix that problem prior to the sale. He made the purchase and shipped the car, and once it arrived, here's how he described the condition.
Pile of shit.
Essentially, upon delivery, the car was noted with an extra 700 miles. It had an extra 700 miles on it, Zuckerman.
Ferris Bueller right there. Unbelievable.
By the way, the Ferris Bueller car went up in Barret-Jackson. $360,000.
Amazing.
I was there. I talked to the guy who was selling it. He goes, there were 3 of them, and this is the best of the 3, the hero car of the hero cars. And it was, I would never look at a car like that, but both my boys just watched that movie and loved it and are kind of fascinated by it. And if I had that spare money, I would have bought it. It would have been fun to have.
Add that to the $3 million write-off you would do, too.
And they played the music. Ooh, yeah. And the crowd went crazy, and who gives a shit now anymore? The guy's probably got a wicked hangover, right?
Right.
He looks in his garage. Oh, no. I would buy that and push it off a cliff. Anyways, 700 extra miles, a check engine light, rough idle, as well as a PASM failure. The navigation system wasn't working. The rear quarter panel was painted. Well, didn't he notice that before? My dealer friend ran a Porsche scan tool, which confirmed all the faults. Rough idle was due to misfire. 2 days after delivery, he got an appointment with Porsche Manhattan, put it on a lift, immediately noted rear main seal leaking, which had been doing for a long time. Left front axle boot leaking badly. RMS issue, bad for manual cars as it contaminates the clutch if not fixed, which requires removing the transmission. Ugh. All the codes were still there and required further diagnostic to determine the exact cause. They only had an hour of appointment time, so I took the car to a local specialty shop to finish the inspection, during which they found that the engine mounts were shot and the idler pulley was on its last leg. Did they say which car this was? They didn't say which car it was, what year this was. Did they? That's a good piece of information that we would need. Okay. Dealership would charge about $2,000 to drop the tranny to address IMS. Further diagnostic needed to determine the issue. The misfires, the plugs, faulty sensors, PASM. Further investigation could be faulty shocks. Plugs and coils need to replace. And my indie shop charges half the rate and could do the work, but I'm still looking at $2,000 plus just to get the car running right.
You know,
this has to be a 996, right?
Yeah, or earlier. I was thinking maybe, something even earlier, G-body or 3.2. But whatever it is, it's an incredible misrepresentation, and it's a huge disappointment. And I don't want to get into a lot of detail, but I'm dealing with something for a friend of ours, which, again, comes down to the fact that you really have to know who the hell you're talking to. Because the story.
In that case, we thought we did know who we were
did
talking
to. And I wanted to say something. We thought we knew, but
look,
we're not. It's hard to say, but just be.
Let me say it simpler like this.
Yes, say it.
You gotta judge the car, not the person, no matter who the person is.
But what if the car has been sold to other people?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a different story.
We're going to get into this. This is just like a little foreshadowing of a really big story that is really just about how horrible and what piece of shit
that
people
story may never be told.
Yes, it's going to be told. I'm telling you.
Well, you can tell it somewhere, but we'll see. In any case, here are the takeaways that Tom has for this story. And I'm reading this, I don't know, it just feels like this is good to be reminded of this stuff. And I like to hear it, too. We need to be reminded of shit over and over again because you forget.
Don't be lazy in your purchases. PPI.
The first of which is, from Tom, always get a car inspected by an independent shop. Never take the dealer's word for that everything is fine. He's exactly right. Independent shop. That's the first point. The second point is he's saying it's easy to get judgmental. It's important to understand the psychology of why someone might take a purchase like this without doing the inspection. Finding the right specialty car takes time, yes, and buyers don't want to find the right car only to miss out because another buyer snatched it up. That's a really important point, right? All of the great cars that you and I have and Jerry and everybody else comes from waiting and waiting, right? So there are a couple of guys who were on this trip who have been emailing me, hey, I got to get something. And they're looking at cars right now. And, they're good. I keep writing the same thing back to them. Take your time. It's the most important thing when you're buying a vintage car. Take your time. If one is close, don't feel bad if you don't jump on it. That perfect one always jumps in front of you at some point. Don't just buy it because you're anxious. That's the second most important point and the most often overlooked.
Because it's an emotion, and I'm impulsive, and you know that. I'm impulsive. Yes. But understand in most states, I know in California for a fact, all deposits are refundable. So if you really think you're onto something, you can work out a deposit to hold the car and have it inspected. The deposit is refundable. Now, I am impulsive. I will say that. When I got to go, I got to go. I got to buy something.
That's surprising.
You've never noticed that?
No. Yeah, every Thursday and Friday you buy a car.
Fortunately.
I know the day. If anybody wants to sell you or Jerry, contact them on a Thursday.
Right. But the thing is that I will say I am dealing with people that I know. then that helps. Because if you know somebody, you have a connection to somebody who is in the stream of car finding, find a person that you can trust, too. Not just some guy with a reputable-looking website. Websites are really deceiving. It doesn't hurt, by the way, to look if the guy who has the website, who's in the business of selling cars, is actually a licensed dealer. That's their big giveaway. Sometimes these guys with these fancy websites are not licensed dealers.
Right.
And then you can even look, and here's another giveaway. You can go on the Secretary of State website and see that their corporation is suspended. And that's an easy find. And that's going to tell you something about the guy you're dealing with.
Did Jerry buy a car? I got a message on the chat as we were flying
back.
Did.
It's funny because Eli told me how good the market was based upon the sale of one car, and I say, don't count that car. I know who bought it.
So Eli is a friend of ours, Auto Store. I keep having trouble with this. Even I saw him in Auto Storage. Auto? What is the name of the
OTTO, Auto Car Storage in Scottsdale. And
yes.
Eli.
So wait, what is he saying the market was good? I don't know that anybody said that
a Targa. He called me to say, wow, Porsches were doing really well at market. He said that a 79 Targa sold for X dollars, a big number. And I said, throw that data point away because that's our friend JS bought that, and he hasn't known the value of money since 1991.
And who was bidding against him?
Who knows?
So as we were taking apart the auction process, I was thinking about Gooding and these other guys. You know, when you sign up for auction, they go, what are you interested in? And you tell them the car, and they go, how high are you willing to go?
Oh, God.
And then you've totally tipped your hand.
Yeah.
Don't answer these questions. Go out. Never mind. Never mind what I'm interested in. And never mind what I'm going to, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That seems like you're rigging it. It's like, why would he not now take that information away?
And what they do is they set up little competitions. They know that. So, for example,
but who's the other guy?
Well, so I was mildly interested in that 914 GT that they had at Gooding.
Right.
And I happened to be talking to a friend.
I didn't see that car.
Yeah, it's fabulous. Great race history.
What did it go for?
It went for $900.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money.
That's a ton of money.
But when I called a friend of mine who would know about that car and I asked him, I said, hey, what do you think of that car? He said, it's a great car, but two guys are bidding on it, and you know who those guys are, and they got pockets. And I said, I'm out. I'm not going to bid against a friend, and I'm not going to bid against somebody.
What color was that car? Tangerine?
Well, it had decals in the whole thing. So
how did I miss this car?
Look at you. You're befuddled by this.
Yes.
But I will say that one of our very good friends, a guy who gave us a gift on Sunday.
Yes.
The guy who gave us that nice little gift on Sunday purchased that car, and he's going to race it because he does race.
Wow. This yellow one. Is
that
it?
Let me see.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Wow, that's cool. These are the best cars in the world. I really have a fondness for them.
They are great, and it's got a great race history. And I think that $900,000 is an insane amount of money, but I don't think he's losing any money in that car.
But it pushes the market up for another car that I was very interested in.
I understand that. But not everybody pays attention, and we can always just,
come on, economy crash. Well, wow, look at this. Yeah, this will be fun. I haven't gone through Gooding Scottsdale numbers. This will be good.
Okay.
I found myself wanting to be at Gooding a little bit after because, I wanted to see some quality cars and I wanted to read the stories. I like the stories. I like the history, and I like making my judgments based on some reality and some perspective.
Gooding always does a good job at that. It's a setting that I'm amenable to. I like it in there.
I've never been to Gooding in Scottsdale.
Really?
Ever? No. I've never been. I've only been to Barret-Jackson. I think this is my 4th time there.
Gooding is the polar opposite of Barret-Jackson.
January, buying cars in January always seems odd to me.
Really?
We just finished Christmas. We're all buyed out. Yeah, I want a break.
Doesn't apply to guys like me. I'm not buyed out at Christmas. I don't do Christmas.
Yeah. Anyway, that's her story. That's Barret-Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to give you a little update. I continue to love my 991 Speedster. I think it is one of the greatest 911s ever made. To be open-topped, 5,000 RPM, 90, 100 miles an hour.
You put sunscreen on your head, on the top of your head?
I don't need sunscreen. I've already got enough liver spots to provide coverage. I've got SPF 1000 liver spots on my head. You like that or no?
No, just for a minute, my head said, why don't you make an animated show, Zuckerman's Liver Spots? They come to life at night. They're like the Minions.
They talk.
They talk.
How did you get made?
What's he doing?
No, I was there the time he fell asleep drunkenly in the sun.
In Sardinia.
In Sardinia.
The Zuckerman Liver Spot Show. Yeah, the Speedsters are beautiful. That other Speedster, I saw that one, the slate gray one, is gorgeous, too. They're great cars. And then now, here we go. When I drove it again. I was listening to the new GT3 engine in it and really liking it. It's a spectacular thing.
ITB.
I don't think, I don't know. Here's what I don't get is all, these guys, our friends going, I just don't get the GT2 RS. That's the thing I don't get. I don't know what, people whose opinions I respect, groups of them, are not understanding the greatness of this thing.
They say strange things like, it's too much. It's too much.
Can you imagine that? It's too much.
That's never in my vocabulary. The too much of a good thing? Yeah. There's too much of a bad thing, sure. But,
the 935 is too much.
Yes. The 917 is just too much.
Too
much.
You
can't have one of those. It's just too much. Too much of a good thing.
That's precisely what I find addicting about it.
Yes.
Right? At a level below a Carrera GT, I'll be honest with you, but still, it's challenging and fun and rewarding to drive, and it is too much. That's what I love about it.
That's what makes it 4.0 great. It's too much.
It's too much.
And there you are, too much on a public road.
So I was driving the GT2 RS this weekend, and by the way, picked it up, and the wheels were scratched on the right side.
Oh,
you know
Moise,
that,
Moise. You know the guy who leaves the groceries in the front trunk?
Yep.
Now he scratches the wheels.
But I think people like this because there are many fans of Plan Z. Here's what happened after that moment. I texted Zuckerman and Moise, importantly, I sent him pictures. I said, by the way, this is the car, just so you guys know I didn't do this. And then I said, I'm going to call Anthony Lehner exotic car. I've got the day off yesterday. It was Monday. It was Martin Luther King Day. I said, Moise did feel bad. He said, why don't you let me pick it up? Why don't you let me drop it off and I'll take care of it? Huh?
And you were like, no, you're not allowed to touch it ever again.
No, I didn't,
No, you have to take it in stride.
I was fine. I said, look, I'll do it. I'm fine. I don't mind doing this. I like working on cars. So I dropped it off at Anthony Lehner. He picked it up, and then I told Mo it was $300. It was $150 a wheel to fix them, which they did. And he just Venmo'd me the money. He goes, I just got Venmo. And I said, I have it too. I don't know how to use it. But he Venmo'd me $300.
Mo Venmo'd.
Venmo'd.
Venmo'd. He Venmo'd. So,
and there it is. And now the car's perfect. Right. And there it is.
And you're laughing about it. So I'll give you the other experience. So I have another car with two guys, and you know about this. The car, it's the other GT2 RS that I have with two of my business partners. And that car I haven't seen in several months. And I thought...
This is fine. The way you described that made me laugh.
Really?
You said, I've been going into the hangar, and then I just realized for the longest time I haven't seen my car.
Yes. And then...
and usually the cars are there, and then they're not there.
Right.
And they come in and they come out.
They come in and they come out, and I realized that car just has not made an appearance.
Where has it been?
And I said to partner number one, Robert, I said, you got that car? And he goes... I thought you had that car.
Oh, geez.
So I call up the other partner, and I say, hey, do you have that car? And he goes, oh, I left that at the Montage. I said, excuse me? You left our car at the Montage? And I go, but you haven't been.
That's a hotel.
That's a hotel. And I said, when was that? And he goes, I don't know, like before Thanksgiving. And what?
He valeted the car and left it at a hotel.
Just walked away. Walked away. And... I didn't say a word, and he was out of state, and he was dealing with some personal issues, and I said,
wait, it was just you were paying the valet?
He's a regular tenant over there.
But that's like $30 a day, right?
Yeah, he has some deal with them. They weren't charging him, whatever, but still, the idea that it was in the bowels of the building, covered in asbestos dust, and not for the use of the other two guys, not in a place where it can be shared, just secreted away where he left it like trash. And then I said to him, would you call over there and let them know I'm going to pick it up? And then in his imperious manner, he said, just take one of my business cards and show it to them. They'll give you the car. Sure. That's going to work just like that. And it made me, I didn't say anything. It made me so mad that when I got up to pee the next morning at 5, I got back in bed and I was just robbed of sleep.
Oh, yeah.
I could not fall asleep.
That.
I wanted to pummel him with a heavy object.
Yep.
And then I had to call over there and I had to explain to 7 people the deal before they understood that I was going to get the car, which I'm part owner of, and please wash it and get all of the dust off of it. But okay, that's the worst thing that happens.
But it started.
It started, and now we've got it back, and it's a great story to tell.
Wow.
What's wow?
Well, Ben Bailey isn't here
Let's
yet,
just
right?
keep going.
We'll
just talk.
No, I know. That's fine. I know how to host the show. I'm fine with that. But
I'll host the show. Zuckerman's here, in control.
You're in a good mood. I'm happy you're in a good mood.
I could be in a bad mood. You want me to be in a bad mood?
Oh my God. Now you sound like my wife. I like
how you described her the other day.
After listening to your story about the GT2 RS, I went back to the Gooding site to look at results because I like results, and I noticed immediately lot number 7 was a 1970 Toyota FJ40 Land Cruiser.
Those always sell.
Light blue.
$100,000?
25,700. $25,760.
Wow, somebody got the auction deal. What lot was it?
The lot 7, it was estimated 50 to 70, and it sold for 25. That's a deal, right? It looks like it's a little rusty in the front, but that's a deal. My neighbor drives a red one every day. That dude is in it constantly. He's got the top ripped off it. He's from Australia, and he's like, "Hey, mate," and he shakes his hand, and he flies by. I don't know what the hell he does for a living, but he drives that thing, and he's making me crazy with jealousy.
Rust is not going to kill it, and 27 is the lowest anything's ever sold at that auction.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm looking through now some other stuff. 2011 997 GT3 RS 400 in white.
3s, 4s.
Bidding stopped at asking price is $475. So who knows what the bidding got up to in that one?
White's a tough color in that car.
I agree.
No matter how low the miles are, do you really want a white one?
58 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Roadster, red.
Yeah, that's
estimate 900 to 1.2. Went for $940.
Okay. That's about
Decent,
the right number
right?
for red, and that was a little rough, that car.
And look at this. Okay, 2006 Ford GT Heritage Edition. The estimate was high on that, 400 to 450, but went for 385. That's market for that car.
Well, Heritages always carry a little extra. You give them an extra 20% because they've got the color
No,
paint.
it's actually they all sold for this number. What's impressive is there were a lot for sale up in Arizona.
Everyone who was holding said this is the time.
And they all sold for good numbers. That's a good number.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, look at that. 65 356 SC Coupe in what looks like mice and blue. I don't have the descriptions up.
100, 90, 100?
160 to 180 was the estimate. What did it sell for, Zuckerman?
Probably 150.
190.
That's a big number for 356.
Jams. Yeah.
Meissen sells. Meissen is a selling color.
1979 911 SC Targa. Estimate was 900 to 120, or 90 to 120.
Went for
sold for 123.
And
is that Jerry? That's the Jerry car, right?
That's the Jerry car. Jerry, money doesn't matter. Seinfeld.
Well, it matters to him. He cares about money more than most people, I would say. He spends it, but he definitely cares about it. And he works hard to make it. Wow, look at this number. 1990 Mercedes-Benz 190-25, 16 Evolution 2.
That went for a huge number. And that's a great car.
$434,000. Was that a no-mileage car?
It was very low for one of those cars, and it's a fantastic car. That number is a benchmark number.
Yeah.
You know, that's like similar to the M3s of that era, the M3 Sport Evos.
Right.
That's a hot market right now. Kids love those cars.
1972 911 Porsche S, 2.4-liter engine, silver black in your most desirable colors.
Round 2?
142.8.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder what was wrong with that thing. That car was fucked. In need of a total restoration.
Maybe, or maybe not. But, yeah, maybe, silvers are pretty difficult from those years because they degrade. They generally don't make it.
Yes.
So they have to be repainted.
I liked the way that your silver car had all that lacquer crazing in it.
The crazing, that's right.
That's what it's called, crazing.
I didn't like it.
I like that.
I didn't think
that
it
was
was
Otis Chandler's car. Does anyone remember who that is? I do. Do you?
Do I? Of course I do.
Do you?
What are you talking about? All right, let me just run through a few more. We're going to bring Ben in. 1979 Porsche 930 in what looks like silver black, but it could be a silvery blue. I can't tell. Estimate 200 to 250. What do you got? 79.
190.
156. 8.
Ooh. Yes,
1996, 90. The turbos look like they're down. 1996 Porsche Turbo 983. 200 estimate, sold for 151.
How many miles were on that sucker, and what color?
I don't know. This is just me reading through things. 2018 991 GT3, 204. Wow. Look at that.
Was it a good color?
Yeah, it's some sort of vibrant yellow.
Vibrant yellow.
I don't know. I don't know. What color is this?
You are a vibrant
What is that?
yellow. Chartreuse, isn't that?
No.
No? I think it is.
Chartreuse?
Yes. It's a greeny yellow, kind of radioactive looking.
Acid green.
Okay.
Non-metallic acid green, brand new, 80 miles, that's why. Anyway, cool. Go check it out, Gooding & Company. Ben Bailey just walked in. We're going to bring him in a minute and talk about Cash Cab.
Podcast One has some exciting news. It's official. Our shows are now available on Spotify, and it's free. We want to make it super easy for you and your friends to listen to our podcasts, and joining Spotify allows us to be in even more places for fans to find us. If you're already listening to music on Spotify, you can now listen to our podcasts in the same place. If you're not on Spotify yet, all you have to do is download the free app. That's right, no credit card necessary, and simply search for our shows to start listening.
You're listening to Spike's Car Radio.
Ben Bailey from a show I'm sure you've seen. If you haven't seen it, you've heard about it. It's a really clever idea. It's called Cash Cab. It's on Discovery, right?
Used to be. Now it's on Bravo.
Now it's on Bravo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You guys moved.
Yeah. Discovery didn't pick us up. They brought us back 2 years ago, and then third time around they didn't pick us up again, and Bravo did.
Now, so I guess they didn't own the IP, right? Who owned the IP?
Lion Television.
Lion
TV started it in England, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And in England, they didn't even use a guy, right?
Yeah, they just had the cab, like a Knight Rider voice asking questions in the cab.
That is so weird.
Really?
Yeah. It's hard to even imagine that, isn't it? It's like, what?
So
people actually went for that? Just get out like immediately.
It's kind of who was driving the car?
Just a guy who was actually a cab driver, a London cab.
Okay, so the guy would drive and the machine would ask the questions and then they would win. That's less exciting than having
is
you.
Definitely. But it's in London, so.
And they bring the show here.
It's a lot trickier to get around.
What year did they bring the show?
2005.
2005, and they hire you, stand-up comedian, to go, let's make this a show. And was it an instant success? It's such a clever, simple idea.
It's funny. It seemed like the most ridiculous idea at the time. Like it was like a game show in a cab. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. There's no way it's going to work. And it didn't really at first. When we first started...
I love that honesty. And in a moment of vulnerability, it didn't work.
It didn't. And it doesn't. Goodbye. Where are you going, Ben?
I've decided this isn't going to work. No, people didn't want to play. People just like...
Of
We're
course.
Like, I'm not playing. Let me out. Take me where I'm going and shut up and turn that music off, you know.
I mean, what's the state of mind when you get in a cab? You're busy. You're like, hurry up.
Shut up. I don't want to talk to you.
I'm doing this because I don't have time. Yeah.
I don't have time. Right,
exactly.
So
but then it caught on. We had a really great game, and it was like I remember we were all kind of standing around after looking at each other like, wow, that was pretty awesome. This could be something, you know.
Yeah. As a producer, I go, God, they're making this stuff for nothing, right?
Mm-hmm,
The only thing I'm paying for is Ben, production, editing, and these cash prizes aren't that much, right?
They're not very much, no.
Right?
Yeah.
And I can make, 100 of them a week?
We can't make quite that many. We can make about 10 in a week.
10?
In a good week.
So that's like a game show, right? You can, you're printing money at that point.
Yep.
I hope they're paying you. Are they paying you money?
They're paying you.
That's great. This is fantastic.
Do you see me rubbing my hands?
So the show goes off the air, 5 years ago?
Went off. We were on from 2005 until 2012.
Okay.
Run.
Discovery.
13. Came back in 17.
Okay.
And now we've been back 3 years in a row, but
But Bravo
Last
said
one was on Bravo, yeah.
Yeah, Bravo wants it. Discovery kind of went off into Richard Rollins' tattoos and funny
Yeah, they
cars
changed
and
so
goofball
much
stuff, right?
In the beginning, we were like the edge of what they were doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it like just went way past us.
Right.
And I was like, you guys are like, there's like guys racing cars in the street and beating each other up. Like,
Now, Jimmy, you're gonna buy that? What are you gonna do? I'm gonna fix that up. We're gonna race it. We're gonna make $15. That's that show. That's that whole network. Now, Bravo's a separate issue. So Bravo comes back and they go, "We want to buy this show, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Do they go to you guys? We need celebrities in the show at that point.
No, that was that was when we first came back to Discovery.
Okay,
we did a bunch of.
So they just
shows, and it was really fun. I had my doubts about that, honestly. That's a weird dynamic in a vehicle.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It worked out pretty well.
Who are you picking up? Like Matthew Perry, I know.
Yeah, we had Matthew Perry. We had Brooke Shields. We had some of the gang from Curb because they had just come back. So they were like doing the
Susie
promo
Essman.
circuit. Yeah, Susie was in there.
Yeah.
It was great.
Did you watch the new Curb? I just watched it.
I haven't
last
seen
night.
it yet, no, but I saw an ad for it in the locker room. I golfed yesterday, and in the locker room, there was an ad for it on, and just seeing the ad for like 2 seconds made me laugh. It's just Larry sitting in his bed.
Do you watch the show, Zuckerman? This is you on steroids, to use a horrible cliche.
Yes. Yeah,
just one of the stories is Larry
with the hat.
Phil Rosenthal, who we all know is so in the story, is so annoying. He only talks about his own shows. I don't want to hang out with him. So he does this the goodbye, the big goodbye at a party. He goes, "Oh, I'm leaving. I just noticed you were here." And then Phil calls him out. "You're giving me the big goodbye. That big goodbye at the end of the party, so you don't have to talk to me. So have lunch with me." So Larry, along the way, learns that Make America Great red hats are people repellent.
Yes.
So I'll just wear this hat to lunch, and he won't have lunch with me. It's a brilliant little scene and conceit. And Phil comes in and sits down with him, notices everybody staring, and then goes, I gotta go, and leaves. And Larry's like, "Hey."
And it's really and there's the part with the motorcyclist, with the biker guy who wants to beat the crap out of him. And then he puts the hat on.
I swear.
And the guy's like, "Have a nice day."
There's like
awesome.
10 stories in that episode that, on Seinfeld we would do 4. There were like at least 10 crammed into that 30 minutes.
Wow.
It was really funny, and it's just so different than anything else on TV.
Still have the tuba, right?
What's that?
They still have the tuba playing whenever.
They still have the tuba. Jeff Garland was being mistaken. Jeff Garland is being mistaken for Harvey Weinstein everywhere he goes, which was another really brilliant. He's in a party with Larry, and some woman walks up and goes, "Who invited you?" She goes, "What?" She goes, No, that's not Harvey Weinstein. That's the host of the party." He goes, "It's happening a lot." He goes, "It happens everywhere." Larry does a story where he's sexually harassing his assistant and grabs a waitress's breast trying to get a chicken wing. And I'm just watching going, holy shit. I can't, I don't know how he's walking this line.
He just does.
I don't know. I guess.
He does.
I was watching the story and go, wow.
We want him to walk that line. That's the thing. He's our guy that we all want to say, "Okay, Larry, get as shocking as possible because we're going to forgive anything you do."
Well, the season opener is a shocker. I hope your show is going to be as shocking as this.
It's definitely not going to be be as shocking as that.
I'm going to say something.
Pretty much the same.
How many
answer
shows
the questions correctly, and I will give you the money.
I think it's really exciting, though. When
$550.
$550.
Yeah, something like that.
That's huge, dude. Huge.
Yeah, it's been a good run. Thanks. It's been fun. It's like I said, at first we were like, "This is crazy. What are we doing?" And then we were like, "This might be something." And now here we are.
Because it's so
16
simple.
16 years later.
Well, it's like Jeopardy. I mean, you're just when you get a game show that works, it cranks. It just cranks, right? So you get in the cab and the lights turn on and there's that excitement. Again, producer hat. When you say you want to play a game. You're in New York, which is a one-party consent state. How does that work? Do you have to pull over and have them sign a release or something?
Afterward, yeah. We get them.
So at what point?
So I get that they want to play first.
Okay.
When I say let's take a ride in the cash cab, I pull over and get out.
And I go. Yeah, I want to play.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
All right, let's take a ride in the cash cab. I pull over. I get out. Someone else gets in and gives you the.
Legal gets in.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Legal gets in.
Sign here.
So, yeah.
And are there ever issues with that? Do people look at it and get afraid and release?
Sometimes people look at it very carefully. And we're all
they're
just
not.
like, oh my God, we're sitting there for 45 minutes. Like,
Really?
come on.
Yeah.
Once in a while, yeah, they get
They're not going to be the fun contestants. No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, sometimes they are. If you get someone who's a lawyer, they're going to read every word.
Really?
It seems like
Not
it.
me.
Not
No?
him.
You would just sign it?
Yeah, I'm a personal injury lawyer. We're different animals.
Okay. Well, you're in. You can play
He
whenever
goes,
you want.
I'll deal with it after. After?
Yes,
you
of
can
course.
you can deal with things
I
after.
played after.
Not for me.
Is it?
Once in a while, somebody will sign and everything, and then they won't go well.
Uh-huh.
And then they won't want to play.
Right.
They won't want us to play it. They'll say, can you
And what do you do?
like yank that? Because I'm really embarrassed about how I did.
Well, usually
we'll say that's fine. We're not going to use
Yeah,
it.
you
If
have
you
to
really
do
don't
that.
want us to, we won't use it.
Right. You don't want to embarrass anybody.
Yeah.
So, and then they're asked a round of questions, and they have a chance to win. How many people compete in an episode?
Usually it's 3 games.
It's 3 games.
Yeah, we did a couple that were 2 games this last time around because we were playing with like getting to know them a little bit more. So I did like some interview-style questions with the contestants, and that's something the network wanted. So we ended up using a couple of those. We didn't we learned their names and where they're from always, but then now we're like, what does it mean to you to be sitting in the cash cab and all this kind of stuff? It's
Yeah.
pretty cool because they're like going crazy now.
Yeah.
In the past, they were like, oh, cool, early on, and then now like I hit them with the lights and everything, and they just like.
It's
They're
an
losing it.
institution.
They're just like, rah!
Do you ever
Screaming,
get
going crazy?
when you turn the lights on? Do you ever get a guy go, "Okay, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. This isn't my wife.
Yes,
This is
yes.
Oh, yes. I like this.
I need
And that's
to,
when you get money from him.
I need you to turn the cameras off right
Yeah.
now and pretend you never saw me."
Handful of times.
Oh, this is wonderful.
We're not supposed to be here with each other. We can't play.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
One woman said, "I can't play. I'm in the CIA. I can't be on television."
She couldn't say
And she
it,
was
but she
crazy.
would never say
She
that.
didn't say that on camera. She said afterward.
But she couldn't
I
even
can't
tell
play.
you off camera.
I can't play. Yeah. Well.
Oh my
Really?
God.
Is it that secret?
Yeah, you can't tell anyone. You can't tell anyone
That you work for the CIA?
Of course. Yeah,
Are you
until
sure about
after. I know. Yeah, for sure.
Later on in life, people are like.
Later.
I thought you worked at UPS.
Dad. There's usually a cover
Just
story.
had the uniform.
But as I understand it, you can't until you're either out completely. But even then, I think there are restrictions because it's who you associated with. Anyway,
Well, that's what she said. She worked for the CIA. Couldn't be on camera.
she's nuts. Whoever that was.
we
had-
believed her.
She,
She
had
was
an-
very convincing.
She was crazy. An apartment full of cat poop.
We let her out. She put the gun away, and we continued our day.
How did you even get this in the first place?
Cash cab.
Yeah,
how
how
did
did
you
you
audition?
He's a stand-up comedian,
understand,
right?
yeah.
Yes, I
You're an
am,
accomplished stand-up. How long have you been doing stand-up at that point when you get the job?
About 12 years, I
Okay.
guess.
Wow.
Something like that.
So did they go right to you, or did they have you audition
they
for this?
auditioned people here, New York, Chicago, and San Francisco, I think.
Okay.
But I had a little bit of a leg up going in because I had been a driver. And everyone, I had driven for a living. I drove limos.
Oh, wow.
And everyone at the clubs in New York knew that I did because I would often be doing both at the same time.
Right.
I'd drop some people at a dinner. I'd go to the club. So everyone's like, "Wow, he's taking it seriously. He's wearing a suit."
Oh, that's cool.
It was pretty cool. And I had a really nice car that I parked out front.
That's really funny.
So when they went to the clubs, they came from from London, and they went to New York. And all right, let's find a cab driver who's got a personality. We're not going to have a computerized voice do it. We're going to find a cabbie who's got a personality that can carry a show. After a week, they were like, "Okay, that's never going to happen.
Right.
We need to find somebody funny. So let's find a comedian who can drive." So when they went to the clubs, they said, "Oh, well, you should." They mentioned me because they said, "Oh, well, Bailey's a limo driver. He could do it." So I think I had a little bit of a leg up going in. But
Yeah.
It was one of those things that just went perfectly well for me. Like once in a while, like I don't know if you play golf. Once in like 10 years, you have a day where you're like, "Wow, I'm really good at this today."
That's called smoking crack.
I suck most of the time,
Right.
But everything's falling into place today. This audition was like that. Like it just
worked.
It just worked.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, and then just a few more of those, and taxi school, and a background check. And
Oh, yeah.
Did you have to
all
get a
kinds of
chauffeur's
stuff.
license?
I had to get a TLC hack license. Yeah.
Didn't you have it already from being a driver?
No, because limousine company I worked for was in Jersey.
They didn't care.
And you don't have to have a commercial license to drive a
You can
limo.
be a waitress.
Just get in the car.
No, not Uber.
Wow. That's
Well
right.
said. So, did you take it seriously when you were when you were trying out for this? Did you think it was going to be really something, or did you just?
I thought it was going to be nothing. I thought it was going to be a flop, but I went for it anyway. I put everything into it. I tried to make it a good audition. I tried to have fun with it.
And what did that
and it
look
worked.
like? Did they put you in a car and they roll cameras?
No, we were in a casting room with
boy.
chairs.
That's
set
not
up
right.
like a.
Well, then
set
how
up
do
like
they
a
know?
Hands up like you were pretend driving?
Yep.
They-
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they sat in the back. Casting directors were in the back. One across from me.
You know, I hosted a show in a car with cameras, and it's
Oh, really?
you
No, I
also
didn't
have to car matchmaker, but it's notable because I get used to it. You're driving, but you're performing, and
Yeah.
you've got GoPros in your face, but
Yeah.
you've got traffic, and you've got the real world, right?
Yeah.
It's a skill set.
Yeah,
it's
you have
kind
to
of you get
exist
used
in
to
both,
right?
yeah.
And then I would put the passengers in, and then they'd test drive, and I almost died every episode. What's the challenge of doing this show? Aside, I mean, obviously the driving, right?
Yeah, well, not as much anymore.
In New York? Why
That's
not?
Just because it's second nature now.
Second
I've
nature.
just been doing it for so long.
For 16 years of career.
Yeah, and
I know,
I
but aren't-
drove in the city for 10 or 12 years
Do you have
that.
Do you have a prompter? I mean, how
Nope.
are you memorizing questions?
I
These are
memorize
long.
them, and then they read them back to me in an earpiece.
Oh, that's good.
But if I don't know them ahead of time, they don't flow, so I got to study them.
Are there ever starts and stops where you reset stuff and have to try again?
Sometimes, not so often anymore. It's amazing what you can train your brain and to get used to. You know,
The
I kind
IFB.
of cruise through it at this point.
Do you have the IFB relationship? That little earpiece that you're wearing and the guy on the other end is really important.
Yes, it is.
Who
yeah.
is it? Is a man or a woman?
It's a man.
And did you pick that person?
I did not.
And you have a good relationship with him. Though.
I do, yeah.
And
He
you
does a
guys have
good
a
job.
shorthand.
Even though he has a slight lisp.
So Zuckerman, while he's doing this, and he can even be talking, some guy will just go, make sure you ask them if you did. So just
Yeah, and your
So
brain
while
is
you're-
splintering into pieces.
like you imagine making your opening arguments, and I'm in your ear while you're talking, going, "Can you be a little louder? Can you also?"
Don't forget to mention that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Whenever I've had to do that, I'm the worst at it. I end up going like this. I'll go. I'll turn my head and
Wait,
the camera's
what?
on. Yeah, you turn.
What did you say?
I turn in the direction, and it takes me out of my eye line. It's
Just
really
calm
hard,
voice,
dude.
like, people are not supposed to know.
People
that
are not
someone else
supposed
is
to
talking to you.
You're talking. And
Well,
now,
stop talking to me then.
That's really hard. So you've got the IFB, you've got traffic, you've got the people, you've got the comedy to keep track of, and you've got the question in your head, and you've got your eye on which camera and how to look and do what.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's
That's a lot.
In the beginning, it was like brutal.
Yeah, right.
And we were shooting really long days. We were trying to find the show in the beginning. You know, like it didn't just flow the way it does now, right out of the gate. So we were working 6, sometimes 7 days a week.
Right.
10, 12, 14 hours.
Wow.
Trying to just grind away until we had that one game, and then we were like, oh my God, there it is. That's
you
the
found
show.
it.
We found it. Can we recreate that? Because if we can, then I think we've got something.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Thank you. It was awesome. It's been amazing.
You haven't been robbed at any point? Someone
No,
said,
but
I have a game for you.
Oh, you want to play games?
Give me the $10,000, motherfucker.
Didi
What?
Mao with the Russian roulette.
Oh, we can swear? I didn't know we could swear.
It's a podcast. You can say whatever you want. Yes.
Just for no reason.
Just to say it.
Just to say it because I can. I've never been robbed, but we've had some like kind of weird incidents. This girl asked me so many times. She had her handbag, like her purse, in her lap, and she was just holding it really tight. And she kept asking me if I had ever been robbed at gunpoint, like 10 times in a game. So I was just pulled over. I just got out. I was like, could please go and
Freaking me
search
out.
her and search her bag and make sure she doesn't have a fucking gun in her bag, which
Yeah.
she didn't. She was just trying to scare me, which it worked. We used her game. She made it. She was going to the Met. She won. We used the game and everything,
Really?
but there was a stop in the middle to make sure she wasn't going to shoot me.
So she was playing psych ops on you for some reason.
I guess,
So you
yeah.
are-
I
That's
don't know.
wild. And
or
going
maybe she
to
was
the Met.
nervous and just
Wow.
really wanted to know the answer to that question. I don't know.
When do we see this show? It's on Bravo.
Cash Cab is on Bravo Sunday to Thursday at 11:30 p.m.
Sunday to Thursday.
But we've run through a season. There's another one coming. We've run through one of them, and the next ones, I believe, don't come until April at this point.
To April. Wow, dude. Yeah. Look at that.
Which is good because I'm going out on tour doing stand-up.
Yeah.
Starting
But you're on
this
TV.
Saturday.
You're just on TV almost every night.
Yeah. It's pretty
That's
weird.
fantastic.
Well, now they popped it on a couple of other networks.
Dude,
that are
you're
under their
the new
umbrella.
Alex Trebek.
The old Alex Trebek is still here.
He
can't be
is.
the new one yet.
I know, but really, that's big. That's big. Good for you.
I feel very fortunate. But, I've been a stand-up this whole time.
Right, and I know you love stand-up.
And Cash Cab sort of, put me on this sort of separate path, So now I'm trying to, bring those two paths together.
Well, you know how it works. I don't have to tell you. The TV show promotes the stand-up, which in turn promotes the TV show.
That's true,
It's a cycle, and you go around to the different markets. And let me impart this wisdom that Jay Leno gave me.
Okay.
If you can find out in what markets in traditional broadcast the ratings are flagging a little bit, you go do shows there, and then it goes
and
up.
then they bring oh, wow, that's brilliant.
Jay Leno was brilliant at this in late night.
Wow,
with
that's
all the
very
separate
smart.
affiliates, where everything would go down, he'd make sure he'd focus on the place where they were down, and they'd go right back up.
That's amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
You can do that too. my
Super
friend.
smart.
Tell us about your tour.
But I
and
can't.
where-
You got to have your network behind you to promote your stand-up.
That's right.
Which Bravo has been very good.
Yeah, yeah.
Discovery was like, no.
Of course not.
Yeah. Nope, we don't do that.
Yeah.
But so now I have a new tour. I'm kicking off this Saturday, the 25th in Cleveland, House of Blues in Cleveland.
Oh, cool.
Everybody wants to be in Cleveland at the end of January. But I am looking forward to it. I'm getting a tour of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there you go.
They invited me. They're going to give me a nice little VIP
That's cool.
private tour. I can't wait for that. I've heard that there's some amazing stuff there.
Yeah.
Big music fan, so yeah, I can't wait, man. And then I'm, Cincinnati after that, Atlanta, Orlando.
And where do we get these dates?
You
have
can go
a website?
to my website, therealbenbailey.com.
There it is.
The real one.
The real one, yeah.
The real one.
Somebody
That's like
beat me
him.
to benbailey.com and wanted me to buy it from them, and I said no.
How much is the real Ben Bailey or benbailey.com? What did they want?
He wanted me to just make him an offer.
Oh.
Oh,
was like,
really?
yeah. And I was like, yeah, forget it. I don't think I'm going to get into that. I don't think we're ever going to agree on a number, you and I.
You can go at those people. I know if someone's got your name. I don't know about Ben Bailey.
Well, his name actually is Ben Bailey.
Oh, his name is,
But-
so he's fine.
So
Yeah.
I couldn't get it from him unless he gave it to me. But he doesn't have a website. There's no website at benbailey.com.
I wonder if Ben Bailey's listening right now.
He might be.
Why don't you, Ben?
He listens to everything I do.
Be a good dude. Give it to him for $50. Just
Well, it
be a
doesn't
good
matter
dude.
now. Now that was years ago. The
Oh,
real
get
Ben
that
Bailey.
one, too.
Yeah, it's probably would not be a bad idea for me to
Yeah, have them both.
Yeah, if you're out there, Ben,
Your plate didn't pan out, Ben
Have a heart,
Bailey. You got nothing.
I'll give you $40. I'll give you $40 for it, not a penny more.
That's fantastic. Well, look, it's a pleasure to meet you, man.
Yeah, you
Thank
too.
you for coming in. Come back whenever you're in town. Where are you based? New
Thank
York?
you. I'm in New York, but I'm out here quite a bit now.
Cool, man.
I
Come
would
back.
be here if I could. But
I want to see the cash cab. What kind of car is a cash cab?
It's nothing too exciting. It's a Toyota Sienna minivan.
It's a Toyota Sienna Mini.
But it's pretty cool. The new ceiling is amazing. Honestly, compared to what we had in the beginning,
Yeah.
the new one is it's basically a
flashes.
screen and it does
Yeah.
whatever. So it's
I saw.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a disco ball, a LED disco ball. Just
Yep.
goes whoop, like that.
Yeah. Now, well, the new one
Again.
you could do anything on it.
Yes.
And yeah, you should come if you're in New York. I'll take you out for a spin, man.
I'm doing it. I'll do it.
Do the show, Ferrison.
Go to New York much?
I am there a lot. Yeah. But
Cool. We
Very
can
nice.
set that up next time we're filming.
Yeah, I
Otherwise,
wanna see it.
because it's
That'd be fun.
broken down. And
you're an
sitting in a
institution
garage.
at this point.
Well, thank
I
you
imagine
very
just
much.
driving around the city, people get so excited to see you.
They do, yeah. It's funny. You know what's funny about driving a cab that you don't think about is when you're driving around in your own car and people hail cabs, your
start
instinct
to
is to
pull
pull
over.
over to pick them up.
Hey, hop in.
Why am I stopped? What am I doing? I'm just going to go now.
That's cool. Anyway, that's all we have for you, folks. It's been an hour. We've been here for a little bit. Zuckerman, what do you have to say?
Gotta go
Anything
make
before
some
we
money.
close it out?
That's
You
what I
trying to
gotta
make
do.
some money? Me
Yep.
too. Got to go make some money. Ben Bailey, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Guys, got to watch Cash Cab. It's on almost every night on Bravo. We'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio. Download new episodes every Wednesday on the Podcast One app or subscribe now at Apple Podcasts or PodcastOne.com.